So what we decided to do for our first wine, obviously it takes a lot of time to make wine, and much easier to make a label, go out, slap it on a bottle, fill it with some juice, and go. So to do that for our first Three Blades location, we decided to find some Cab Franc, a friend of ours had, and we got a pretty good deal, I think, $12 a gallon for the wine. It's already been aging for a year in the vats, it's ready to come out. And what I want to do instead of going into oak barrels is use amphora eggs, 500 gallon, and then use oak chips to give it the flavor. So we'll get the oxidization profile with the clay pots, and then we get a little bit of the wood that we can bring in the toast and the butter and those kind of flavors later on. So we can let it sit in the egg for another 12 to 24 months with this Cab Franc, so we get a really nice wine out of it at the end. But that means I have to buy 12 eggs, 500 gallons a piece, and amortize that out over 20 years. So if you have the wine sit in the egg for 1 to 2 years, which is what I'm told by a winemaker is recommended for this, we have to have the 12 eggs sit, which also means we need to pay rent, and that gets quite expensive. So as we go through this, and then we found some bottles for a couple bucks a piece, and actually less than that, about $1 a piece, and then a mobile bottling line. So all we really have for our overhead expenses is the time and space to let the wine sit in the warehouse before we bottle it. And that does add up quite a bit, though. My bottom line cost, that does end up being quite high, though. It's $13 a bottle for wine that I'm paying $12 a gallon. So you can see it increases quite rapidly. And it also brings up another question, is that if I can buy the same wine already bottled, labeled, or even higher quality from Europe, bring it over here with my label on it and have it down at $6 or $7 a bottle, is this really something we want to do? That's a big question. So a lot of questions come out of this expense when we look at how it goes about making wine, starting from the 6,000 gallons of wine down to the case, down to the bottle, to get, basically out of the back of this giant truck, a taped, wrapped box with a label on top ready to sell, which ironically, if you're going to sell them by the bottle, you're going to end up opening all that cardboard and wasting it anyway. So